World record holder for the beer most likely to make you have a huge penis. Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new episode of Business Blaze. This one, of course, it's brought to you by the fine people over at Surfshark. Safety and security online are what? Oh, they're critically important. And you can protect yourself online with Surfshark. Get 83% off and 3 months for free through the link in the description below. And welcome back to another episode of Business Blaze. I, of course, am your boy with the Blaze, certified legend. If you would like to
hesitation is defeat.
I don't know if you technically become a certified legend upon purchasing this t-shirt, but you know, I'm gonna say that you do. You can go to purchasethemerch.co. If I am sounding a little bit unusual, it's because I'm actively trying to behave myself. I recently realized I didn't quite tie it together, but obviously on Business Blaze I do quite a lot of shouting. And I've been having some vocal troubles. And I've been advised that I should shout less, warm up my voice more.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
What are you doing that is damaging your voice so much? And I was like, well, I have this channel called Business Blaze, and what happens is I yell at people a lot. And so, what I'm gonna try and do, bear with me, I'm gonna make this entertaining, and I'm gonna try and not to shout at least too much. Although the reality is we're doing the weird things that companies made, and I know there's going to be some terrible, terrible pieces of here. So sometimes it's like I wish I had an audience to be like, whoa, 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 Simon, calm down. Don't shout, because I'm just in my office by myself and no one's here to tell me to behave. Okay, it was what happens here? Obviously, you know this. Danny writes us a script. I shall read the script, and Sam, he's gonna see. Even that is like, is this gonna ruin Business Blaze? Business Blaze over. Simon's voice, it's done. His career is over. It's just a drift into obscurity from here. It was a frustrating morning for the brand development team at Guinness HQ on the frosty morning in Dublin in 1954. The company had been flogging its curious, dark Irish stout since 1759 and had evolved into the largest brewery in the world by 1886, despite the fact that not everyone appreciated the malty sweetness and hoppy bitterness bubbling away in a velvety pint of Guinness. I don't really have any feelings about Guinness. Like, it tends to be quite a divisive thing. People are like, oh, Guinness, that's disgusting. Or, oh, Guinness, I need to drink 11 pints of this. I'm like, Guinness is alright. I mean, it's very strong tasting. I'm sure it's absolutely horrific for your body. I mean, you just sip it and you're like, oh, it's 400 calories right there. And I have to admit, I can't drink any more than 12 pints of the smooth cream. Danny and I are always on the same page, or what? Of the smooth, creamy stuff before I feel the need to move on to a proper drink. Danny, you are H to the C. But now the company was keen to expand into a new spin-off areas rooted in their famous original brew. In 1954, they are ahead of the curve. I mean, what are we gonna get? Crystal Guinness? Diet Guinness? Ideas were being bounced back and forth about developing new ranges of Guinness coffee, Guinness chocolate, Guinness gravy, and Guinness engine oil. What is going? That can't be real. But nothing seemed to quite hit the mark. Yeah, all of those things sound horrible. I don't understand. Like, I know people will criticize me and they'll be like, oh, Simon, you're just not very progressive, you're not very forward thinking. And I'm like, yo, coffee was perfected a really long time ago. Look, it tastes good. We don't need to down with it. It's like, oh yeah. This coffee's flavored with cinnamon juice. And it's like, well, one, how do you juice cinnamon? And two, why do you need to put that in the coffee? Like, just no. Like, do you want a syrup in your coffee? Do I want to be smashed round the head with a bat? No. I do not. Thank you though, yes, I'll pay by card. But then one guy stuck up his hand with a pretty radical idea. He said, this is proper boring. Why don't we just forget about this drink and just concentrate on compiling a definitive annual list of world records instead? That might be good for a laugh. Yeah, oh my god, that is so random, I never thought about it. I mean, I did think about it, but it's like, why is Guinness beer the arbiter of world records? And also, I mean, in my opinion, allegedly, I've also started using in my opinion because I heard it works, like allegedly. So, in my opinion.
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
Guinness World Records are kind of a bunch of tosh, really, because it's like, you've got to pay the Guinness people to come and certify your legend, you've got to do all of this, you get a certificate, and then someone else can come and take away your legend. Your record. No one can take away your legend. And it's like, yeah, okay, so no one, it just seems like a bit of bullshit, to be honest. But if you don't know that, I guess you're impressed by it. So it'd be like, world record holder, Simon, most YouTube channel. And thus, a publishing legend was born. And I have to say, when I was a kid, I did find the Guinness Book of World Records interesting. It was like, what we had to read before we had the internet, to provide all of the interesting knowledge in the world. Like, toilet books. The most brilliant one I ever saw was like, totally this joke is stolen from the front page of Reddit, but it's like you're sitting on the toilet in the 1990s and it's like, oh my god, there's no book, there's nothing to read. Okay, I guess I'm gonna read the back of this shampoo bottle for the 18th time. It's like truth. Well, that's not quite how it happens, but it does seem quite random that a little Irish brewery, which has enjoyed success around the world for nearly 2 centuries, suddenly became equally famous for verifying and publishing increasingly ludicrous world records, and the name Guinness is now synonymous with 2 completely different things. And speaking with that, why does the tire company Michelin rate restaurants? It's like super high-end restaurants get Michelin ratings, and they also make tires on my car. Why? The real origins of the story date back to a shooting party in County Wexford in Ireland in 1954. What is a shooter? Is that where we shoot guns, or are we shooting a movie? Attended by the fabulously named Sir Hugh Beaver, who just happened to be the managing director. Does beaver have another meaning in the United States, or is that just a British word for, let's just move on. He was the managing director of the Guinness Brewery at the time. In between shooting at things, okay, there we go, Sir Beaver got into an argument with a fellow guest over whether the golden plover or the red grouse was the fastest game bird in Europe. And Sir Beaver later became frustrated when the host's vast library of reference books couldn't seem to confirm the answer either way. Oh my god, the days before the internet. It was the worst. Oh, by the way, if you'd like a t-shirt that says the past was the worst, which just is incredibly popular. I didn't realize that one is the one that I get the most pictures about on Twitter for some reason. It's like, look, I got my "the past was the worst" t-shirt. I'm like, I thought this was just something I like to say. That saying actually comes from, I do a podcast called The Brain Food Show with David, the guy I do the Today I Found Out channel with. And we're always talking about history stuff on our podcast, and it's like, always, the past was the worst. It's like, whatever we're talking about, it's like, it was worse. Other than 2020 with COVID and all that. But even then, it's like, that only means like maybe 2019 was better. I mean, look, anything before 2015 was a disaster. Not really, it was great. Who doesn't love the past? And Sir Beaver, wouldn't it be Sir Hugh because he's knighted? Sir Beaver, but Sir Beaver does, Sir Beaver. Later became frustrated when the host's vast... Oh, we read that already. If only there was a single authoritative volume which could settle long-running arguments about this kind of thing once and for all. This gap in the market prompted Sir Beaver to hire the McWhirter twins, a couple of proper boffins, who were working as fact-finders for Fleet Street at the time and would have been a very useful asset in any pub quiz to quickly churn out a definitive book of facts and figures over the course of just a couple of months. I'm taking my shoes off. My feet are warm. I have this underfloor heating in here and it tends to make my feet warm. Okay. Fascinating, Simon. This is the information we're here for. Tell me more about your heating system. Notice how I didn't shout that? I'm behaving myself. My voice is feeling good. This coffee is helping.
That's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
The first volume of the Guinness Book of World Records was a relatively slim book. Only 1,000 copies were printed on the first run. And although it may seem quite random for a brewery to suddenly move into publishing, the original marketing proposal was tied very closely to the drink. Yeah, I mean, this is the past as well, so they could probably be like, world record holder for the best beer, Guinness. World record holder for the most healthiest of beers, Guinness. World record holder for the beer most likely to make you have a huge penis, Guinness. And people would be like, oh, is it a book? I guess it's true. I've seen the Bible. Oh, smash that dislike button. Guinness had no intention of selling this new book in stores. They just planned to give away 1,000 pubs across Ireland and the UK. The idea was that this fun freebie would help settle pub arguments before they descended into a full-scale fight and convince everyone to drink Guinness while they were debating. This actually does sound pretty great. I like it. However, the book became so popular that it soon took on a life of its own. Okay, great, Simon. You just said something. It's like, this is a great idea. I like it. Yeah, no, Simon. The Guinness Book of World Records is around like 170 years later. Of course it was a good idea. We all know this. You think you're a genius? You're not. You just are in the future and know what is correct and not. However, the book became so popular that it took on a life of its own, and by the following year, the Guinness Book of World Records had evolved into a runaway bestseller and eventually broke a few world records itself by becoming the best-selling annual publication in history, shifting over 132 million copies across more than 100 different countries. Well, did they? Maybe they just sold 4 and they'd be lying about it. They could just be like, look, we write the book. It's like, yeah, no, this other book sold way more. But let's just put ourselves in there, okay? It's our book, all right? Obviously, I get why that's wrong, but there's other stuff like this that isn't, that I just don't understand. Like Google, didn't they get fined like billions of dollars last year or euros? Because in a Google search, they put items on their shops at the top of the Google ranks. And I'm like, it's their ranks. They can put whatever they want at the top. And they got fined billions. I'm like, I mean, I get why it's good for the consumer to have it up there. But it's like, it would be literally, if I had a store, and at the front of my store, I just put other people's I didn't make any money on, rather than my own. Of course I wouldn't even sell other people's stuff in my store. What are we doing? Probably gonna get fined myself, aren't I? It's like an antitrust suit against business plays promoting business daddy Google. And I'm not just saying this because it's my business daddy, all right? How did we get here? Focus has changed over the years, and some may argue that the book is now little more than an opportunity for companies to launch publicity stunts by breaking ridiculous new records. Yeah, no shit. Alongside the credible and genuinely noteworthy world records, the most recent greatly expanded volumes are just as likely to feature content covering the fastest 100 meter on a skateboard by a dog. Why? I mean, why? Instead of shouting the ridiculousness, I think I'm just going to do deep sighs like this. Just kind of like disappointed in the world and people. Just like... the largest gathering of people dressed as gorillas. 1,061 participants. I don't even want to continue. I'm just not gonna, like, no. Let's just not read anymore. In a bid to combat falling print sales, the gorilla thing will help, won't it, guys? The publishers have understandably turned to the potential record breakers themselves for revenue. Although it's still technically free to apply for inclusion in the book, you'll stand a better chance if you pay for a priority service, which can end up costing anywhere between $12,000 and $50,000. Holy shit. So yeah, you can get in the book. You can apply for free, but if you actually want to be included, it's going to cost more. I mean, I'm just going to throw an allegedly there, just because this sounds like a bit corrupt allegedly, and also not the way to actually get the people who are most impressive in the book. From the 50,000 people that apply every year to claim a new record, less than 1,000 make the cut, and I suspect the other 49,000 weren't so quick to hand over the money. Although the name Guinness is still very strongly associated with the book and the world records in general, the company hasn't actually been involved in publication since 2001, and the Guinness World Record books are now owned by the Jim Paterson Group. Never heard of Jim Paterson, but he has a big group. But it goes to show how easy it is for a company strongly associated with one product to diversify, and become a globally recognized brand for something else entirely, no matter how weird it might initially sound. Although maybe some companies find it slightly more difficult than others. Incidentally, oh my god, are we still in the introduction? We're still in the introduction, Danny. Oh shit!
Danny, what the fuck, man?
I gotta stop. Behave yourself, Simon. Behave yourself. Behave yourself. Why does your voice sound so deep right now? Incidentally, just in case you were wondering, the fastest game bird in Europe is the... I wasn't wondering, Danny. It's the golden plover. No one cares. Or it might be the red grouse. It depends on who you ask. It's probably the one who paid $12,000 to get in the book, allegedly. If only there was some single authoritative version which could settle long-running arguments about this kind of thing once and for all. Microsoft goes to Teletubby lands. I can already tell I'm not going to like this. I find the Teletubbies absolutely ridiculous. I've got a kid who's now a year old, and the TV is so bad. There's a couple of shows that I like that kind of have a storyline, but there's some real bullshit. There's some real bullshit out there. Microsoft has never shown much creativity when it comes to choosing names for things. Even the very name of the company itself feels like nobody was even trying on that day. Or maybe it was far smarter than we think. When Bill Gates first co-founded and named Microsoft in 1975, he may have been playing for the long term. Because if he ever decided to, in the future, to flog a few digitally enhanced soft toys for kids based on wacky TV characters, the name Microsoft works pretty well for that too. Hilarious. And about 22 years later, Bill's grand master plan came to fruition with the launch of Actimates in 1997. The first range of licensed plush toys were based on Barney, the unfathomably popular purple dinosaur, which later ranges included the US cartoon character Arthur the Mouse and Teletubbies. All I know I never really watched Barney. All I know is it a Family Guy clip or a Simpsons clip where they have Barney there? He's like, 2 + 2 is 4. 2 + 2 is 4. And it's so dumb. And then also, there's a Barney clip. This was one of the first viral videos I saw. I must have been like 16 years old. And a friend, you know when you'd get viral videos, someone would like burn up a CD with like loads of viral videos on it or something? The one of them was like Barney the dinosaur. But instead of and the kids were all like going around like this, and Barney's doing his jumping shit. But instead of it being like the Barney soundtrack, it's got some like hardcore rap in the background. And it's brilliant because all of the bouncing and the kids moving around lines up. It was hilarious, I'm sure. Maybe Sam can find it. while later ranges included the US cartoon character Arthur the Mouse and Teletubbies. But these were no ordinary soft toys. Stuffed with sensors and transmitters in every available orifice, they were designed by the CIA to Not really. Not really. Get your conspiracy theories in the comments below. I know you love it. They were designed to interact with new episodes of their relevant TV shows and compatible PC learning software. This sounds like such a thrill. You'd need to buy separate TV packs and PC packs to get them working in full flow with your television and computer. The TV pack contained a transmitter which you plugged into the back of your telly so that it could pick up data encoded on VHS tapes or live transmissions of the latest episodes and then beam infrared signals to the cuddly toy so it could react in real time to what was happening on screen and become your new viewing buddy. This does sound cool and super, super ahead of its time. This was 24 years ago. That's mad. But I mean, I have a feeling it's just going to be a bit shit. Because all of that stuff from the 90s, like what comes to mind, Tamagotchis and those other things, Furbies, they were both promised so much. It's going to be like a real pet. You can stroke it and you can talk to it and its eyes move and it looks fucking weird. But you actually get one and it's shit. It's just so shit. And I'm like, I mean, that's all I've got to say. It's just so disappointing. And I get the feeling that this is also going to be disappointing. It sounds like we're trying to do too much with too little. The very fact that we're using infrared, it's like, wow, that was how we used to transmit information between devices wirelessly. To be honest, the range of reactions was a bit pants. What a shocker. Danny and I, same page. By the way, I've got another podcast, The Casual Criminalist. And the writer, Danny, has written a couple of scripts for that channel, but the main writer, Callum, who does most of it, in one script, I say something and then, like, because it's sort of reactionary like this, like I'll read a script and, it's just longer and criminally and there's murder. Casual Criminalist, it's on YouTube as well. Find it if you want it. How did I get into this promotion? Oh, yeah. And Callum said something. I immediately agreed with him. I said, Callum and I, same page. And the comment section was just, Simon, you have betrayed Danny. Danny has been betrayed. See that? I just roll into the shouting and I gotta stop, Simon. Jesus Christ. No! Barney the dinosaur very rarely came out with anything more profound than, hooray, here we go. That's good to remember. And during very specific moments, wow. Look at that boat. It seems a bit of a wasted opportunity. It's a shame that nobody thought of manufacturing a plush Donald Trump toy to interact with the news. Oh no, now we can't even have his reactions to Fox News via Twitter. Oh, Donald Trump. You'll be missed for your entertainment value. That's all. During footage of the storming of the Capitol in early 2021, it could have responded in real time with, here we go, this is entirely appropriate, and we love you all. You're going to jail though. Oh, is that actually what he tweeted out? I can't believe it, allegedly, in my opinion. Whilst initial sales of the Barney Actimate were actually quite healthy, they dropped off when people realized it was shit. This was before Trustpilot and really obvious reviews on the internet where you could instantly find out whether something's shite or not. A lot of people were confused about how to set up the technology with their television set and computers. Don't forget, this was 1997. And these micro soft toys certainly didn't come cheap. It cost $110 for the plush toy, and then an additional $65 for the separate TV and PC packs, which sounds outrageous already, and that was 1997. It's probably double that now, considering inflation. Also, inflation destroys your money. It's crazy. Over 10, 20 years, it's like, oh, I really lost a lot of money by just keeping it in the bank. The prices came down a bit for the later releases of Arthur the Mouse and the Teletubbies, but the sales came down too, and the whole range was finally discontinued in 2000. I'm gonna say good. It might just be that kids found the toys irritating after a while, and wish that they'd stop stating the bleeding obvious for a second so that the TV could be enjoyed in peace. I don't think that's true, Danny. I mean, my kid, it's just we'll watch the same cartoon for the 50th time. Absolute same level of engagement. It's remarkable. One final little niggle is that the interactive toys were known to cause conflict with other radio-operated electronic devices such as burglar alarms. Barney, scaring the absolute shit out of kids since 1997. Microsoft's official solution to this problem was to turn off your burglar alarms. Jesus Christ, Bill, come on, do better. Nice one, Bill. We're all gonna get murdered in our sleep to the soundtrack of Barney the Purple Dinosaur, chanting, here we go, I love you guys, awesome! Oh, let's talk about something that is actually awesome. It's today's legendary sponsor. Do you use the internet? Oh boy, do you. You're watching the internet right now. You're watching me on the internet. The internet is a glorious thing. It allows me to do this for a living, which every day I realize is entirely absurd. I often think about this. Communicating to myself, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, being, Simon, there's going to be this thing called YouTube. You've probably heard of it. You watch pirated Ali G clips on it during lunchtime as a student. Forget all that accounting you're studying. Forget that international business management. What you're going to be doing is standing up in front of a camera and reading about that stuff. What are we talking about? Oh yeah, the sponsor. Meta. Well, let me tell you something. While the internet is wonderful, it's also all kinds of weird. There's shady individuals out there. There's hackers, crackers, phalackers. Don't think there's any such thing as a phalacker. Oh, what are they trying to do? They're going to ruin your day. They're going to steal your details. They're going to take your identity from you. And that's a real thing. That's a pain in the arse. There's an unnamed company, because I can't name... They're not a competitor, but I'm not going to name them anyway, because also they might sue me. Where, I think we even made a video about it, where the guy who was like the chief executive of the company, he gave out like his... the social security number. He was like, I'm so confident in my product, here's my social security number. And he got his identity stolen the shit out of for years and years and years. And I don't think he can change the number or something ridiculous. So he's like, yeah, that really screwed him up. But you don't want that to happen to you. You don't want people stealing your identity. It's not good. So use a VPN, for sake. Surfshark has HackLock. It searches database for your passwords, which sounds bad. I've mentioned this before, but don't worry. Surfshark are the good guys. And when you're back in the warm comfort of safety, when you're like, glad I sorted that issue out, maybe you want to watch a movie. Maybe you're like, I'm gonna watch some Netflix, but that movie you want to watch is not on your Netflix. So you might want to watch The Hobbit. I put The Hobbit in here to take the piss out of when I do a business plays read, but I said it seriously in a video the other day, like, or you could check out The Hobbit. And everyone in the comments was like, Simon's trolling us, he hates The Hobbit. And I'm like, yeah, do. But if you want to watch The Hobbit, maybe it's only available in another country. You can use Surfshark VPN, flip over to a different country and check that out. Also, you'll get like a whole bunch more stuff. So if you've run out of Netflix, you know, or wherever. And also, allegedly, there are certain alleged services, allegedly BBC iPlayer, which you can only watch if you're in the UK and you have a television license. And I would say Surfshark might make it possible for you to watch BBC iPlayer in another country and watch all those British shows. I mean, of course, if you've purchased a British TV license and are in Britain. Surfshark, definitely, allegedly, they might allow you to bypass that. I wouldn't know anything about it. Absolutely nothing at all. The good news is there are no logs on Surfshark. So allegedly, if I was doing something like that, there are no logs. You can get 83% off Surfshark in 3 months for free through the link in the description below. Let's get back to it. A fresh taste from Colgate. There's quite a bit of controversy about and misreporting and photo fakery over this one. But digging a little deeper into the root cavities of truth, I would do that with so much more vigor, but my voice, so much more vigor. Just imagine the vigor. What I'll do is I'll just do it without sound. Colgate certainly has a case to answer when it comes to a woefully misjudged line of new products. Ever since the US company first started selling aromatic toothpaste in glass jars in 1873, bloody hell, Colgate goes back a long time, Colgate has grown a shiny white global reputation for minty, fresh oral hygiene. And that's fine. Unless you were really desperate, you wouldn't fancy eating a tube of toothpaste as a quick lunchtime meal. If you really had hit rock bottom, you'd at least make a start on the cat biscuits, the crunchy dishwasher tablets, or even parsnips before you resorted to lightly snacking on toothpaste. What is wrong with parsnips? I like parsnips. Like, parsnips roasted in honey is fine. And not like fine, it's fine, but like fine. The very idea of slapping the Colgate branding across a new range of ready meals, geez, would seem quite preposterous. Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, ugh. No. It kind of like reminds me of that taste of orange juice after brushing your teeth. Most customers are likely to instantly associate the branding with minty fresh fluoride paste, and that's going to be more than a little mentally discouraging when you're shopping for spaghetti bolognese or a cauliflower steak. OG Business Plays reference right there. Marks and Spencer's cauliflower steaks. They were a thing, they were shite. If you don't get that joke, you need to watch all of the Business Plays episodes. Again, if you've seen them all already, just go back to the beginning and start again. It's good for my algorithm. But was Colgate really silly enough to try it? The Museum of Failure was one of the first websites to recently spread the legend that Colgate launched a range of frozen meals in 1982 under the banner of Colgate Kitchen Entrees. Alongside a photograph of a scrumptious-looking packet of Colgate beef lasagna, the article claimed that the products are a disastrous flop and were quickly extracted from the shelves. Wait, is this real or not? Because I don't want fake ones, Danny, so I'm gonna guess there's more to it than this, right? Following the entry into the Museum of Failure, the story was picked up by multiple media platforms and newspapers at the time, but a quick search of the internet should still reveal a bulging tube of articles which squeeze quite a bit of fun out of the whole idea at Colgate's expense. That was full of puns. Absolutely bulging. bulging tube of puns. But Colgate themselves got quite grumpy about it. It was later revealed that the photograph was a mock-up, and that the director of the corporate communications for Colgate declared there was no Colgate lasagna. The product image was something made up by the museum to illustrate something that never existed. I researched this years ago and found no evidence of Colgate kitchen entrees. But maybe you should have researched a little bit harder. Oh, It turns out Colgate did indeed launch a range of food products for 20 years earlier in the 1960s. Dude, you definitely knew about this. Were you like, no, we never did it. Never did it. Never did it. Even today, they'll probably be like, yeah, we found evidence of it, Colgate. They'll be like, no. Fake news. Just deny. If we've learned anything about PR on business plays, don't apologize. Just deny it. Under the Colgate kitchen label, the company decided to test the market by producing a total of 5 packaged meals, including Colgate dried chicken. Dried chicken? What the Colgate crab meat? These are not the most appealing things I've ever heard. I think it's just because they put Colgate in front of it. But the products were, and also dried chicken. But the products were withdrawn after less than a year on sale exclusively in Madison, Wisconsin. I've been to Madison, Wisconsin. Random American town I've been to. The beef lasagna now doesn't sound quite so bad in comparison. When confronted with this evidence that Colgate really had been silly enough to launch a food label, the director of corporate communications was reportedly quite crabby in his response to the journalist who had contacted him by telephone. He said, "Where are you headed with this? An article? For whom?" You can almost hear him grinding his teeth from here. Colgate, come on. The Evian water bra. The French brand of mineral water, Evian, deserves a little bit of credit here for being the only company in this video to launch a weird spin-off line, which was actually vaguely connected to the original product. How? It's a bra. One is mineral water, the other is a bra. And before we poke too much fun at the Evian water bra. Oh, I see. Wait, is it like, is padding bras with water a thing? Is that how they're actually, weird? It should be noted that it could have served a genuinely useful medical purpose, but it's just a pity that Evian didn't seem even remotely aware of this at the time. Launched in 2005, surprisingly recent. The product appeared to be a solution for the little discussed problem encountered by women whose breasts burst into flame during a particularly warm sunny day. Danny, what is going on? The water bra contained little pockets which you could regularly top up with refreshing Evian water while you were waiting in the sticky supermarket queue or enjoying a cocktail in a beer garden or having a workout in the gym. Wait, is this... So the idea is that you drink out of it? What is going on? That doesn't sound good at all. This would help to cool down your chest with confidence and avoid any risk of developing overheated flesh melons. Danny, couldn't we come up with a nicer way to say breasts?
It's not a good idea.
The product also came packaged with a pouch to carry your bottles of Evian water. Where? On the back, like a ninja? So you never run dry, even on the longest and busiest days of a sweltering hot summer. Now, this could actually have been quite useful if it had been marketed as a cooling garment for women who suffer from MS, as their bodies find it difficult to process heat, and the water bra could potentially have helped keep this overheating condition under control. And there's a pretty big gap in the market for clothing and accessories that are not only medically practical, but also dare to be quite fun and stylish. This could really have been a big hit. Danny, and a big hit, you know what? So, I mean, I don't want to say, MS, I've heard of it. Maybe it's a big thing in the MS community. It could be, but it's not going to be a big thing for Evian. Sadly, this didn't seem to be on the company's mind at all. Instead, the product appeared to be sold as a bit of a novelty item, which was designed to encourage customers to buy more bottles of Evian water so that they always had enough supplies to top up their underwear whenever they need it. And the problem with this approach is that you don't necessarily need to buy Evian water to keep the product running. Surprisingly enough, other brands of water are widely available and seem to do the job just as well. I don't believe that. I think you have to use Evian, otherwise... Evian missed a trick here by launching a product that solved a water problem without even realizing what the problem was in the first place. The company failed to win the marketing gold cup for this effort. Elon Musk doesn't sell Elon Musk. We're here. He doesn't sell flamethrowers. No, but one of his companies does, and he owns the company, doesn't he? The Boring Company might be officially an infrastructure and tunnel construction company. Why did they sell a flamethrower? But it sometimes appears to be more of an outlet for mad billionaire spaceman Elon Musk to just take the piss. So he is like real life Iron Man, isn't he? He's just like so rich. He just around. Also, he's now the richest man in the world as of a few days ago, which is insane because he made like 150 billion in the last year. To be fair, that is mostly or entirely because Tesla's stock price is just insane. I'm like, I mean, I don't know much about stocks, but I'm like, when it's worth more than all of the other car companies combined, it makes okay cars. Other companies now make electric vehicles. It's nothing that special. And it's worth more than all the other car companies combined, or like most of the big ones. I'm like, that doesn't seem quite right, does it? Some of us happy to make a bit of money on the side by flogging merch such as t-shirts and decal stickers, beard oils, and fanny packs. Oh my god, purchasethemerch.co, beardblaze.com. Surfshark, link below. This is just a 30-minute commercial, isn't it? But Elon Musk's idea of raising a bit of money with merch is to release a limited edition flamethrower. Launched in 2018, the Boring Company's flamethrower was limited to 20,000 units, priced at $500 a pop plus taxes and shipping, and it sold out almost instantly during the pre-order stage, generating a quick $10 million in revenue for the company. Isn't that like peanuts to Elon Musk? I mean, if he's worth $180 billion, I mean, it's just nothing to him. The main problem with shipping such a product around the world is that some countries tend to raise critical eyebrows at anything labelled flamethrower, although they're perfectly legal in most parts of the world, as they're obviously a legitimate tool for specific tasks in several different industries. Yet who buys a flamethrower? What do you need this for? But to get around the potentially pesky permit problems, Elon Musk cleverly named his product Not a Flamethrower, and this seemed to do the trick nicely. To be fair, it didn't really qualify as a true flamethrower anyway, as it was powered by a propane tank rather than liquid fuel. Yeah, I've seen that video of like real flamethrower compared to Tesla flamethrower, and it's like, they are not the same.
So that was a fucking lie.
And it couldn't shoot flames further than 10 feet, which is the usual distance at which it becomes necessary to obtain a permit. Some people argue that it was more of a glorified blowtorch or Bunsen burner, while a spokesman for the Boring Company pointed out that it was safer than most off-the-shelf products that you can order from Amazon to kill weeds. In fact, what are you using this for? In fact, it's not entirely clear what the 20,000 customers were meant to even be doing with their personal Not a Flamethrower, aside from perhaps toasting marshmallows. And that was exactly what everybody was given an opportunity to do at the product's official pickup event at the Boring Company headquarters in Los Angeles. It's just a publicity stunt. I mean, I get it, and also, I wish I had one of these, because I'm sure they're worth more than $500 now, because there's only 20,000 of them. It's a collector's item. But the relatively safe-ish product still managed to attract fury from some quarters, including from Assemblyman Miguel Santiago, the politicians weigh in to make themselves look good. Here we go. Who vowed to block the sale of Not a Flamethrower in California. What a hero. Hero! He said, "If this is real, I'm outraged, and you should be too. If this is a joke, then it's a terribly insensitive one, given that we're coming off the worst wildfire season in history. Either way, not funny. Not gonna happen." He wrote it in all caps. You're the hero we need, Miguel. Meanwhile, the New York Senate passed a bill which proposed to ban the sale of flamethrowers for recreational use and reduce the legal classification from 10 feet to 2 feet, specifically citing the Not a Flamethrower as the trigger for this action. But these, again, heroes. But these efforts stalled, and it remains perfectly legal to own Not a Flamethrower in most parts of the world, including nearly every US state except Maryland, which has always had tighter restrictions on that sort of thing. And you know how many deaths that I've heard about from Not a Flamethrowers? Well, have you heard of any? It's 0. Despite the controversies, Elon Musk appeared to be having a bit of fun with the whole idea, even down to the online terms and conditions. During the pre-order process, customers were invited to get the ball rolling by ticking a box next to the statement, "I understand that I will be checking a lot of boxes while agreeing to these terms and conditions." Elon Musk is a funny man. They were then asked to confirm their understanding that the Boring Company wouldn't be held responsible for anything they did with their new toy, no matter how stupid or genius, and also confirmed that they definitely wouldn't use the product for harming others, setting things on fire, or burning things to the ground. I mean, I'm not going to use it to harm others, and I'm not going to burn things to the ground, but I'm definitely setting fire, Elon. Which makes me think he doesn't take the other two seriously as well. It's a bit weird sandwiching the one okay one in the middle of two ones that are not okay. One guy who didn't see the funny side was Roberto Escobar. He's the slightly less naughty older brother of the late infamous Colombian drug lord Pablo Escobar. What is going on? Who is said to have amassed a net worth of $30 million during his years as the king of cocaine. Wait, Roberto or Pablo? $30 billion. I'm like, yeah. Pablo Escobar was worth, I thought they were talking about, it doesn't matter, 30 billion. Pablo Escobar. Mad. Roberto claims that Elon Musk had stolen his idea after one of Elon's engineer guys had spent time with Roberto in Colombia in 2007 and had witnessed his unusual hobby of setting fires to piles of money with a homemade mini flamethrower. What is going on? Roberto claims, but flamethrowers have been around forever and Elon didn't invent anything new. Roberto claims, "I burned probably a couple of $1 billion over the years for many reasons." Roberto seemed, what is going on? What are you up to, dude? Roberto seemed miffed that Elon had copied his design but publicly announced that he would be willing to settle the matter for $100 million worth of shares in Tesla's company, in Elon's Tesla company. Dream on, mate. Please don't kill me. This sounds like fair compensation for a stolen idea for a flamethrower, but the Elon Musk 6-word response on Twitter observed the flaw in Roberto Escobar's logic. He said, "It's not a flamethrower, Mr. Escobar." Brilliant. Also, wait, so Elon one of his engineers went down to meet Pablo Escobar. What is going on? This all sounds like a bit of an allegedly, doesn't it? If there's such a thing as a Guinness World Record for the world's most ridiculous piece of merch or bravest public takedown of a former key player in the most powerful Colombian drug cartel of all time, I'd like to thank Elon Musk would be at least in the running for both. Let's get that money together. We need $12,000 to get Elon's name in the book. Allegedly, in my opinion. This video has been an episode of Business Blaze. It's brought to you by Surfshark. You can purchase the merch at purchasethemerch.co. You can get some beard oil from my beard oil brand, beardblaze.com. Yes, and I apologize for the lack of shouting in this video. I missed it. And I also feel that the shouting also raises my energy levels as well. It really ramps me up. So I hope I brought the energy despite having to think about my health and my voice. So I hope you still found this one interesting. If you watched to the end, you're of course a certified legend. And thank you for watching. You're the hero we need, Miguel.